Po got everything he ever wanted, and he couldn't accept it. Not because he wasn't good enough, because of something he'd been carrying his whole life, something this movie shows you again and again but never once says out loud. Everyone calls Kung Fu Panda a story about believing in yourself. It's actually about letting go. And the thing Po has to let go of, you're probably holding on to it right now. It starts in the noodle shop. Let's recall this. Po makes noodles, his dad makes noodles, generations of noodles, and Mr. Ping has the whole thing mapped out. One day, Po runs the shop. Po knows this, but upstairs, his room tells a different story. Furious 5 action figures everywhere. He knows every stance Tigress has ever thrown, every battle Crane has ever fought in. The guy has spent his whole life building a blueprint for who he wanted to be without ever stepping on a mat. There's a moment early on where Mr. Ping brings up the future, and Po just goes,
"Mine is here, and yours is..."
I know, is here.
No.
And that's all. He gave that up before the movie even started. He talks about Kung Fu the way you talk about a career you told yourself wasn't realistic. Not angry, not sad, just done. Settled. And settled is heavier than suffering. Suffering means you're still in it. Settled means you've made peace with smaller. Then Oogway announces he's choosing the Dragon Warrior. The whole valley rushes to the Jade Palace. Po rushes too. His dad hands him a noodle cart.
The whole valley will be there, and you'll sell noodles to all of them.
Po can't get in. Gates are closed, tournament's already going. So he straps fireworks to a chair and launches himself over the wall. If the fuse hadn't been a dud first, if his dad hadn't been standing right there with the apron saying,
"Oh, come on, son. Let's get back to work,"
Po would have just gone home. The universe had to literally blast him into his own life because he would have chosen noodles over his dream every single time. That tells you something about how deep the settling goes. Po crashes into the arena. Oogway points at him. Watch his face. He looks like someone who just got called on in class and hasn't done the reading. Everyone in the arena thinks this is a mistake or an accident. Oogway says,
"There are no accidents."
Po will spend the rest of the movie trying to prove him wrong. Shifu puts him through the same training the 5 went through. Same drills, same obstacles, same standards. Po gets destroyed. And that entire training course was built for the 5, for their bodies, their reflexes, their years of muscle memory. Po gets launched, burned, smacked around by every stage of it. Shifu later admits this himself.
"I cannot train you the way I have trained the 5.
Which means every drill Po failed, he was set up to fail. The system was never designed for someone like him. And Po doesn't question it. He tries the splits. He tries the obstacle course. He tries to keep up with warriors who've been doing this since childhood. And when he can't, he doesn't think, maybe this approach doesn't fit me. He thinks, I knew it. I don't belong here. That's what's actually happening in this montage. Po can learn. Shifu figures that out later with the dumplings. The problem isn't ability. It's that Po walked in with a picture in his head of what a kung fu master looks like, and he's been trying to squeeze himself into that picture ever since. When it doesn't fit, he doesn't question the picture, he blames himself. The 5 see it. Tigress tells him if he has any respect for what they do, he'll be gone by morning. And honestly, from where she's standing, that's fair. She trained her whole life for this. Po fell out of the sky. So he walks out to the sacred peach tree. He's done.
How's Shifu ever gonna turn me into the Dragon Warrior? I mean, I'm not like the 5.
He starts listing everything he doesn't have. No claws, no wings, no venom.
Even Mantis has those thingies.
All of it said like a resignation letter. Oogway doesn't give the pep talk. He says,
"You are too concerned with what was and what will be."
Oogway isn't weighing in on whether Po belongs at the Jade Palace. He's saying the question itself is broken. Po doesn't hear it. He hears silence where an answer should be. Po stays, probably because he has nowhere better to go. And by this point, everyone at the Jade Palace, Shifu, the 5, and Po himself, they've all quietly landed on the same conclusion. Po doesn't belong here. And Po agreed first, before anyone else said it out loud. He'd been saying it to himself for years. Oogway is the only one who never said it, and Po thought that meant the old turtle just didn't have an answer. The version of this story that most people remember is the one where Po trains hard and earns his place. Believe in yourself, work hard, happy ending. But that's the surface read, and what happens next is the part the movie never says out loud. The surface read on Kung Fu Panda is simple. Believe in yourself, work hard, become the hero. It's a nice story. It's also wrong. Because before the training montage in the later half of the movie, before the dumpling fight, before any of the stuff people actually remember, Po says something that the movie never circles back to. He and Shifu are arguing. Shifu wants to know why he didn't leave when he had the chance, and Po says,
I stayed because every time you threw a brick at my head or said I smelled, it hurt.
And then he says the most relatable thing ever.
But it could never hurt more than it did every day of my life just being me.
And then,
Because I thought if anyone could change me, could make me not me, it was you.
make me, not me. That's what Po actually wanted. He didn't go to the Jade Palace for a title or a destiny. He went because he thought Shifu could sand down every part of him that didn't match the picture he'd been building since childhood and replace it with something that looked like it belonged. That's the blueprint, the one we watched him build in his bedroom with action figures. But now you can see where it leads, because Po didn't just admire the five. He turned them into a checklist of everything he wasn't, and then he spent the whole movie grading himself against it and failing every line. And Shifu graded him the same way. Shifu didn't just doubt Po. He designed every drill to make him quit. Threw him into a training course built for warriors with completely different bodies who'd been doing this since childhood. Mocked him the morning after Po failed to split. Told the five that if the panda hadn't quit by morning, he'd have failed them. And the worst part isn't the sabotage. It says Shifu was reinforcing every measurement Po already held himself to. Po walks in thinking, I'm not enough. Shifu builds a whole curriculum around proving it. The five see a joke. Tigress tells him to leave by morning, and Po doesn't push back because this is what he already believed. The palace was just saying out loud what he'd been telling himself for years. Then something breaks. Shifu follows a noise to the kitchen one night and finds Po raiding the place. Cupboard doors hanging off hinges. The whole room trashed. Po's response?
What? I eat when I'm upset, okay?
Alright, that's funny. But Shifu spots something. Mentions that Monkey hides his almond cookies on the top shelf. Steps out, steps back in. Po is 10 feet off the ground, doing a perfect split between two cabinets, stuffing cookies into his face. Same panda who got bounced around the training course like a ragdoll, and the only thing that changed is nobody told him to do kung fu. He was just reaching for a snack. And Shifu stands there looking at him, and you can see it on his face, the realization. He'd been trying to train a panda like a tiger, and the panda had been doing impossible things in the kitchen this whole time because the kitchen didn't come with a blueprint. So Shifu throws the whole approach out, takes Po to the mountains, uses food as the motivator. And the dumpling scene at the end of that training, the chopstick fight, is the best moment in the movie because Po is finally moving like himself. Not like Tigress, not like Crane or any of the Furious Five, but like a panda who figured out what his body was actually built for. He wins, holds the last dumpling, and says,
I'm not hungry, master.
He turned down the reward. After everything, he didn't need the gold star anymore. But Shifu didn't unlock some hidden ability. He just stopped asking Po to be someone else. That's all it took. And that gap between what Po could do when nobody was measuring him and what he couldn't do when everybody was, that gap is the whole movie. And now there's a scroll, and what Po finds inside it is going to either break him or set him free. But that depends on something the movie's been building towards since the noodle shop, and it depends on a goose. You've got someone in your head. Maybe not a person you know well. Could be someone you follow online, a coworker who never seems rattled, a friend who hit the milestones you're still working toward. And at some point, you stopped just admiring them and started borrowing. Small things at first. Their phrasing in a meeting, the way they frame a setback so it sounds like strategy. You restructure your mornings because theirs seems to be working. You catch yourself mimicking how they take a compliment. And it works. People respond differently. You get the nod, the "wow, you've really stepped up." And underneath that, there's a noise you can't turn off. This quiet noise running in the background. How much of what they're reacting to is actually mine? That's imposter syndrome. People describe it as feeling like a fraud, but the fraud feeling has a specific shape. It's the distance between who you're performing and who you'd be if you stop performing. You're not afraid of failing. You're afraid of being seen without the costume on, without the mask on. Someone looking at your work, your life, your face, and going, "Oh, it's just you. Just a panda." You've got your own dragon scroll too. The thing you've decided will finally close the gap between who you are and who the picture says you should be. A title, a number, a body, a relationship where someone finally stays. And you keep running toward it, because if it turns out to be blank, if there's nothing inside that makes you into the person you've been chasing, then all those years building the picture were for nothing. And sitting with that is harder than running. The blueprint is the weight. That's what Poe had to put down. That's what this movie is actually about. And the scroll is coming, and what's inside depends entirely on who's holding it. Poe gets the scroll. Shifu gives it to him. Tai Lung is coming. The Furious Five already tried to stop him and came back broken. This is it. The thing everyone's been talking about the entire movie. Limitless power. The secret that turns you into the Dragon Warrior. Poe opens it.
It's blank.
He holds it up to Shifu, who stares at it. Nothing written. No technique. Just a shiny gold surface reflecting whoever's looking at it. And Poe breaks. Not dramatically. He just gives up. He says that Oogway was wrong and he just picked Poe by accident. He's almost sure of it. They evacuate the valley. Poe walks down the mountain and ends up back where he started, the noodle shop. His dad packing up the cart, already talking about the next location for the restaurant. And then Mr. Ping says something he's apparently been meaning to say for a while.
The secret ingredient of my secret ingredient soup.
Poe's heard about this his whole life. The thing that makes the soup special. The family legacy.
The secret ingredient is nothing.
Wait, what?
To make something special, you just have to believe it's special.
A goose who runs a noodle shop just accidentally said the thing that Oogway's been trying to say the entire movie. And it lands because Mr. Ping wasn't trying to be wise. He was just talking about soup. Poe looks down at the scroll, sees his own face in the reflection, and for the first time, he doesn't flinch. He doesn't wish it was someone else looking back. He just sees a panda. That's the moment. A fat panda standing in a noodle shop, holding a blank scroll and deciding that what he sees is enough. He goes back, and the fight that follows is the movie's thesis in action. Tai Lung gets the scroll, the thing he destroyed everything to hold. He unrolls it.
It's nothing!
Same reflection, same gold surface. But where Poe saw a panda, Tai Lung sees proof that his life was a waste.
There is no secret ingredient.
Tai Lung can't hear that, so he attacks, hits Poe with the nerve strike that took out the entire Furious Five. On Poe, it doesn't work. His body is too soft. It just tickles him. Every single thing the blueprint said was wrong with Poe turns out to be the thing Tai Lung has no answer for. The warrior who mastered 1,000 scrolls of Kung Fu gets beaten by a panda who finally stopped pretending to be anything else.
You're just a big, fat panda!
That's what Tai Lung thinks, but Poe has finally understand.
I'm not a big fat panda. I'm the big fat panda.
Listen to that line. A big fat panda is a description. The big fat panda is an identity. Skadoosh. Two characters held that scroll. If you saw our Tai Lung video, you know what it did to him. He saw nothing. Poe saw a panda. The difference is that Poe stopped needing it to show him someone else. When most people hear letting go, they think trauma, moving on, healing from the past. And if you click this video expecting that, I get it. But this movie isn't about that. Letting go here means putting down the blueprint, the version of yourself you've been assembling from everyone you thought had it figured out, the picture you've been measuring yourself against since before you can remember. The scroll was blank the whole time, and you kept looking past your own reflection to find the answer. Tai Lung looked and saw nothing. Poe looked and saw a panda. But if that was the lesson from Kung Fu Panda, what's the lesson in Shrek? Most people completely missed one big point about that movie. To find out, watch the video on the screen.